On our family vacation, my son's wife shouted at the hotel clerk, "Don't speak to that old lady. She's only the helper." My son chuckled. She had no clue I owned the hotel. What I did after that made her shake with fear. I'm happy you're listening. Stay until the story ends. And tell me what town you're in so I can see how many places it touches. I'd been excited about this getaway for a long time. At 72, chances to hang out with my son Jay and his family were rare. When he proposed a week in Miami, my spirit lifted with optimism. Perhaps I could finally bond with Valentina, my daughter, who had stayed distant over their 5 years of marriage. The 4-hour ride to the coastal paradise resort was packed with Jay and Valentina, chatting about massages, golf games, and fancy meals like I wasn't in the car. Whenever I tried to chime in, asking about the children or proposing group activities, Valentina gave a quick reply, and Jay acted like he didn't hear me. I should have noticed the warnings, but I longed to fix our family ties so much that I overlooked them. The coastal paradise resort was one of my biggest successes, but my relatives didn't know. After my husband died when Jay was 12, I started my hotel company from scratch. I began with a tiny inn, putting in 18-hour shifts, cleaning rooms, and handling bookings. Step by step, I expanded it to 17 locations in 3 states. I always separated my work from family life, hoping Jay would care about me for myself, not my wealth. Pulling up to the fancy entrance, a warm sense of accomplishment filled me as I spotted the neat lawns and the valet in uniform, hurrying to welcome visitors. It took 3 years to purchase Coastal Paradise and 2 more to fix it up just right. Every feature, from the shiny stone floors to the sparkling lights overhead, was my own pick. Jay gave the valet the car keys while Valentina fixed her pricey sunglasses. Her light hair done up nicely. She was truly stunning, the type that comes from costly hair places and workout coaches. At 35, 2 decades younger than Jay, she made sure everyone remembered it. "Don't forget," she said to him as we neared the doors. "I need the top floor suite. I don't care if they claim it's taken. Get it done." Jay agreed right away. It still hurt and shocked me how he always gave in to her. The bold kid I brought up was now a guy who couldn't decide anything without his wife's okay. We stepped into the stylish lobby, and I couldn't stop smiling at the usual hum of busyness. Jasmine, the desk supervisor, glanced up, and her eyes got big when she noticed me. But I shook my head a bit. I wasn't set to reveal my identity yet. "Good afternoon." Jasmine greeted us kindly, but properly. "Welcome to Coastal Paradise Resort. What can I do for you?" "Booking under Carter," Jay answered. "We ought to have the top suite." Jasmine's hands moved fast on the computer keys as she looked it up. "Here's your booking, Mr. Carter. It's set for our Coastal Paradise luxury room, but the top suite is reserved for your whole visit." I saw Valentina's expression turn stiff, her mouth clenching and her eyes flashing with annoyance under her perfect face paint. "That's not okay," she barked. "Do you realize who we are?" "I asked for the top suite exactly when we booked." Jasmine stayed cool, though her back tightened a little. "I'm sorry for any mix-up. Mrs. Carter, the luxury room is wonderful, with its own outdoor deck. I don't want excuses about some lesser spot," Valentina cut in, her tone loud enough to draw stares from other people. "I demand the top suite right this minute." I moved closer, trying to calm things down. "Valentina, perhaps we might." But before I could end my thought, she turned on me, her features twisted with rage. "Don't you say a word," she yelled, her shout bouncing off the stone floors. "Jasmine, or whoever you are, just overlook what this elderly lady says. She's not worth it. She's only the helper we dragged along." The chatter in the lobby went quiet. My face felt hot as shame flooded over me. But she kept going. "Don't chat with the old lady," she screeched, jabbing a finger at me like I was trash. "She's merely the maid, the babysitter. Don't bother with her." I froze in place. My throat felt parched, and my pulse raced so fast I feared it might explode. In my 72 years, nobody had ever talked to me with such hate, such total rudeness, and never with others watching. But what followed hurt even more. Jay tossed his head back and chuckled. Not a nervous chuckle to smooth things over, but real fun. As if seeing his wife rip me apart in front of everyone was the best joke ever. "Oh wow, Valentina," he said, dabbing at his eye. "You're awful. But you're spot on. Mom, just let us deal with this, all right? Go find a seat somewhere." The disloyalty struck me like a hard hit. This was my son, the one I raised by myself, who I worked endlessly for, who I gave up so much for to provide a decent life, and he was giggling at my shame. Jasmine's face turned white, a blend of shock and pity that made the pain sharper. All over the lobby, I caught murmurs and saw folks pointing. Some held up their phones, likely filming the whole scene. "Ma'am," Jasmine said gently, her tone caring but still businesslike. "Maybe you'd like to sit in our waiting area while we fix the room issue." Before I could reply, Valentina let out a big, fake sigh. "Yes, get the old lady out of here so she doesn't shame us more. And have someone watch her. She often wanders off." Jay chuckled once more. People were staring, and I felt my spirit breaking into countless bits. I wished I could vanish, to flee from this lovely lobby, from my mean daughter, from my mocking son, and never return. But a final bit of the toughness that created this business kept me steady. I looked at Jasmine. Her gaze showed quiet sorrow. She knew who I truly was. She understood that with one word from me, she could have Valentina removed so quick her fancy shoes wouldn't hit the floor. But I kept silent. I grabbed my little bag and headed to the elevator, my posture straight, despite the heavy load of embarrassment trailing me. Behind me, Valentina was still hollering at Jasmine about the top suite, her words thick with the bossiness of someone who never worked a single day. When the elevator doors shut, I met Jasmine's eyes one final time. She nodded slightly, a quiet sign that she got it. She felt bad, and she awaited my cue. I had created this business from zero, hiring over 300 workers at my sites. I was admired in work groups, wanted by other hotel bosses, famous for being fair and honest. But in that lobby, I was just a sad old lady getting screamed at by her son's wife, while her son laughed at her hurt. As the elevator climbed to the 12th floor, each floor number passing sparked something in me. The ache was still intense and raw, but another emotion started to build next to it. Resolve. The next day, I got up in what should have been a dream spot, but it seemed more like a holding place. My room faced the sea, with waves softly hitting the clean shore. The sun coming up colored the sky in pinks and yellows, shades that usually amazed me, but I felt hollow, like someone had scooped out my insides and left an empty case. I had hardly rested. Each time I shut my eyes, I heard Valentina's taunting words. "She's only the helper." Jay's giggles echoed in my mind as I thought if I could have done things another way. Though inside I knew the true issue wasn't how I reacted. The fact was, my own relatives saw me as unimportant. A gentle tap on the door pulled me from my ideas. When I opened it, Jay stood in the hall. He seemed uneasy, but showed no sign of regret. "Mom, we're heading to eat. Valentina expects you to mind the kids at the pool later, so we can go to the spa." No hello. No how was your night. Not even a mention of the lobby event. Just another command, dressed as a request. "Jay," I said softly. "About yesterday evening." He brushed it off with a wave. "Mom, don't turn it into something big." Valentina was upset over the room. You know she acts up when plans go wrong. "Something big." That's how he described his wife shaming me in public. She labeled me a maid. "Jay." She yelled at me with strangers around. He fidgeted, not meeting my gaze. "She didn't intend it." That's Valentina being over the— "Can we drop it? We're on a break." I stared at him, hunting for the child I remembered. The small boy who would snuggle in my bed during storms. Who brought me weeds and named them flowers. Who once said I was the toughest person ever. That child had vanished. He'd been swapped for a 47-year-old guy who picked his wife's ease over his mom's respect. Fine, I said, the word bitter on my tongue. I'll mind the kids. His ease was clear. Great, we might not return all day. Spa then food, perhaps shopping. That's okay, yeah, sure, it wasn't okay. I had pictured this trip as family time, to connect with my grandkids and feel included. Instead, I was turned into a free sitter. But I agreed. Saying no would just start trouble. And I'd learned ages ago that staying quiet was better than arguing. The eating area was full of holiday folks having their food. Valentina had snagged a spot by the glass, the top place, and she was already bossing the workers like she ran everything. I need juice, squeezed fresh, not that stuff from a can, she told our server. A young guy named Terrell, I recalled from past trips. And ensure those eggs cook for just 3 minutes. No more or less. I saw Terrell working to stay calm, but the strain in his gaze showed. I had taught my team to give great service. But Valentina was pushing even their limits. My grandkids, Zuri and Dish, 8 and 10 years old, sat quietly at the table, staring at their screens. They hardly glanced when I came near. Hello, dear, I said to Zuri, reaching to fix a loose strand of hair. But Valentina's arm darted out, blocking me. Don't mess with her hair. It was fixed yesterday, and I don't want it ruined. I yanked my hand away like I'd hit something hot. Zuri didn't even peek from her device. Kids, greet Grandma Renee, Jay said dully, sounding uninterested. Morning, they muttered together, eyes still on screens. I took the last seat, the one facing away from the view. Valentina had claimed the good spots for her group, giving me the scrap, like I was an extra thought. Renee, Valentina said without glancing my way. After eating, take the kids to the pool. Apply sun lotion every hour. Zuri gets red fast, and if she's even a bit pink, it's on you. I nodded, holding back what I wanted to say. And keep them from the deep water. Don't allow snacks near the pool. They're loaded with junk. Oh, and if they want anything, call me right away. Don't decide on your own. Each command felt like a tiny wound. Another sign she didn't believe. I could handle my own grandkids without her watching. How long at the spa? I asked. Valentina finally eyed me, her look icy. As long as we feel like this is our break, not yours. You're here to assist. Jay stayed quiet, focused on his phone, totally absent. I wondered when he turned into the type of man who let his wife handle his mom like a worker. After the meal, I was at the pool with Zuri and Deshawn, attempting to talk while they stayed glued to screens. Nearby, other groups giggled, splashed, and really had fun together. We seemed like unknowns sharing space. Grandma, Zuri said out of nowhere, and my heart jumped, hoping for a chat. Mom says you used to scrub homes for wealthy folks. Is that right? The question hit like a smack. I'd labored hard all my days. I never cleaned anyone's home. I'd made my own company from nothing. I'd given jobs to many and gained honor in a field run by men. But in Valentina's made-up tale of my life, I was just a worker. No, honey, I said quietly. I run businesses. I create hotels. Deshawn looked up from his screen for the first time that day. Mom says you invent tales about being big. Because you're embarrassed. About being broke. The meanness in his words took my air. Valentina hadn't only shamed me publicly. She had been filling my grandkids' minds with untruths so they'd view me as a sad, confused lady. Your grandma isn't broke. And she doesn't invent tales, I said, my tone strong. Zuri shrugged. That's what Mom claims. She says you stay in a small place and act rich to feel good. Actually, I stayed in a top-floor home facing the water, worth more than most folks' whole savings. But my grandkids saw me as a sad old lady in poverty, faking her story. For the next 6 hours, I sat by that pool, watching kids who barely noticed me while their parents relaxed on my dime. Other visitors talked to me sometimes, and I'd give brief, nice replies, feeling emptier each moment. When Jay and Valentina came back at last, they glowed from spa sessions and a costly meal. Valentina's nails were new, her hair spotless. She appeared like someone pampered all day, and she had been at a spa I owned, with treatments I paid for in the end. How were the children? Jay asked, not lifting his eyes from his phone. They were good, I said. Because, what else? That they thought I lied and was a worker. That their mom had ruined any real bond. Fine, Valentina said, brushing it off. You can mind them tomorrow too. We have golf early and lunch with new friends from the spa. I saw my son agree to her ideas without checking if I minded. Without considering, I might want to do something else on my trip besides unpaid watching. That evening, alone in my room facing the sea, I had earned. I finally grasped the facts. This wasn't a family outing. It was a setup where I played the role of assistant. But instead of getting paid, I covered the costs for the honor of being treated badly. But as I sat in the dim light, hearing waves hit the beach, something in me began to change. The hurt was still there, stronger than before. But now it had company. Clear, strong fury. Fury at being ignored at the falsehoods. At being seen as nothing when I'd created so much. Starting tomorrow, I chose, things would shift. The third day of our break began, like the others, with Valentina listing my tasks while Jay nodded like an obedient helper. This time they planned a trip to nearby vineyards, and I was to stay with the kids. Ensure lunch at noon sharp, Valentina said, putting on lip color like it was fine art, and Zuri gets fussy if her energy drops. So keep those snack bars I brought. Handy. I wanted to tell her I'd raised a child already, that I knew kid care, but I'd found that speaking up just brought more talks, and sneaky insults will likely return by 6. Jay said, eyes on his phone, or later, if roads are slow. As they prepared to go, I caught Valentina on the phone using that phony sweet voice she pulled when she felt smart. No, dinner again tonight isn't possible. I'm tied with the children. I know it's silly, but just a bit longer. Believe me, when this gets fixed, we won't handle it anymore. A cold feeling went through me. The way she said "when this gets fixed" didn't sound like just the trip wrapping up. After they left, I brought the children to the hotel's youth program. One I designed to help families have more freedom on stays. The leaders were great with Zuri and Dash, and for the first time here, I saw them smile and join games with peers. With some free time, I strolled the grounds. It had been ages since I viewed my hotel as a visitor, not the boss, and I wanted a true sense of operations. That's when I heard the talk that flipped everything. Passing the pool drink spot, I knew the voices from a private tent. Jay and Valentina should have been at the wine spots, but there they were, behind screens, whispering with a pair I didn't recognize. The issue is, Valentina said, she's aging. And elders don't last forever, if you get me. A lady I didn't know giggled. Valentina, you're terrible. I'm being realistic, Valentina replied. Jay's the only kid, so we'll inherit all soon. The question is, how much weight? My gut sank. I crept nearer, behind a big plant. And what about Mrs. Renee? The strange man asked. Does she have her own cash? Then I heard my son's voice. The one I once believed fully. My mom. No, she's broke like a beggar. She rents a tiny spot, getting by on government checks. I've supported her for years. The untruths came out so easy. I wondered how long he'd spun them. I had a $5 million top home, making more monthly from savings than most yearly. But in Jay's false tale, I was a load he kindly carried. That's why this getaway bugs us, Valentina went on. We haul her along since she can't pay for stuff alone. It's like a sad animal you can't dump. The other lady made a pity noise. How bad for you. And I bet she expects you'll care for her when she's truly frail and ill. Not while I'm alive, Valentina said with a nasty chuckle. As soon as she needs real help, she's off to a public facility. I'm not making my home a spot for some worthless elderly lady. I leaned on the plant to stay up. They weren't just chatting about natural passing. They planned to ditch me when I became trouble. But Jay's next line broke me. The amusing part is she still acts like she's somebody, he said, his tone full of mean fun. She spins wild yarns about running companies and succeeding. It's nearly pitiful how out of touch she is. Early memory loss, the unknown man asked. Perhaps, Jay said. Or she's just eager to think she counts. Anyway, it's awkward. Yesterday, she even claimed to the kids she owns hotels. Hotels. Picture that. They all chuckled, and the noise sliced me like broken bits. Well, Valentina said, at least her wild yarns won't bother us much longer. I say 5 years, 10 max, then we're free to enjoy without faking concern. A worthless old lady who never achieved anything. I stood behind that plant, my world falling apart. This wasn't casual talk about a tough kin. It was my son and his wife treating my end like a waited-for break. The top part, Valentina added, is she so thankful for any notice, like this trip? She truly believes we asked her because we wanted her. She doesn't know we brought her just to sit the kids so we could play. More chuckles, more easy harshness. Does she help with costs, Brenda? The other lady asked. Joke's on you, Valentina mocked. She's no good with cash. Jay pays all. Her meals, bills, even this getaway. She's just a money suck. More falsehood. For years, I'd aided Jay with money. Helping his home loan, covering school fees for kids. I even funded Valentina's buys. The card bills to my place were huge. Yet I settled them quietly, thinking I helped family. The one plus of her being near, Jay said, is she's okay as a sitter. No cost kid watch, you know. She's so hungry for our okay, she'll do whatever. It's sort of hilarious, really. It is, Valentina said. Seeing her work so hard for our giving kids costly things. I backed away, my hand over my mouth to stop a cry. The untruths were betrayal. But hearing them see my life as a bad joke, a load to toss, was a blade to the core. This wasn't about cash or honor. It was missing basic kindness. They weren't taking my funds. They took my pride in history, making it gross and valueless. My thoughts went back to that lobby night. I'd felt such shame I didn't want to call them out. I'd aimed to shield Jay from his wife's mess. But now I saw he was part of it. He made me the laugh. He agreed with my shame. And he was fine. I'd been so happy with my wins, the life I made for family. But they turned my effort into a gag. I was just a money machine, free watcher, sad old lady they couldn't wait to drop. I felt a fresh anger growing. Not quick fury from before. It was cool, solid, firm choice. They saw me as worthless. They saw me as funny. I'd prove what this worthless old lady could achieve. I'd show what disrespecting me meant. I took out my phone and called Jasmine. She picked up fast. Ma'am, good you rang, she said, mixing relief and worry. You okay? Did you hear? It's okay, Jasmine, I said, voice even. I need a favor. I went back to the youth spot and got Zuri and Dish. They hardly looked from screens as I held their hands. Come on, kids, I said. Time for fun. They gazed at me with bored eyes. Mom said stay here, Deshawn said. Your mom is mistaken, I said. Let's move. I led them to the shore and for once set down my phone and stuff. We made sand forts, we dashed by the waves, and I showed shell hunting. We giggled and I shared tales of their dad as a boy. For a bit, it seemed like a true family break, but knowing what came next weighed on me. That night Jay and Valentina came back, read from Sun and Drinks. They entered my room, set to drop kids and eat out. But I stood blocking the way. "We're set to head out," Valentina said, not eyeing me, focused on kids. "You can rest." "Oh, I won't rest yet," I said, my tone calm as a warm evening. She looked at me finally, annoyance flashing. "What do you mean?" "It means," I said, "call the desk and get another room tonight. You'll leave tomorrow." Jay and Valentina gaped at me, confusion on their faces. "What are you saying, Mom?" Jay asked. "Stop acting clueless," I said. "I heard your talk at the tent." "I know your words about me." Valentina's face shifted from puzzle to full anger. "You spied on us," she snapped. "No, right. I own this hotel." "Valentina," I said, tone growing with each part. "I can do as I please, and I please you to go." I took a paper from my bag and gave it to Jay. It listed all money help I'd given over years. His eyes grew as he saw the amounts, grasping my kindness fully first time. "You lied to me?" he asked, voice unsteady as he eyed his wife. "She's lying," Valentina yelled. "She doesn't own here. She's just a worthless old lady who scrubs homes to live." Then Jasmine, the desk leader, entered with guards. "Heard of trouble," she said, eyes on me, tone steady and pro. "Jasmine, tell her," Valentina screamed, pointing me. "Tell her she doesn't own." Jasmine looked at me. I nodded small. "Mrs. Renee Carter isn't just owner of this hotel. Jasmine said she's full owner of all 17 coastal paradise spots in the US. She's our starter, our head, and why we're here." Valentina's face paled. She glanced from Jasmine to me, eyes wild with fear. Jay stood mute, paper in hand, proof of lies he'd spread. "What's this about?" Valentina stuttered at last. "It means," I said, voice strong and sure, "you check out tomorrow and pay your share. Every cent you two spent here. Every massage, meal, drink, billed to your card." "You can't," Valentina shouted. "Oh, but I can," I said, a tiny grin on my face. "And I will." I faced Jay. "And you, son," I said, "no more money from me. Home payments end. School costs end. You're alone." Jay's face dropped. "Mom, please. We can discuss." "No discuss, Jay," I said. You picked to giggle at your mom's shame. You picked to fib about me, 2 kids. You set your path. Now face it." He and Valentina eyed each other, faces with shock and disloyalty. They thought they controlled me, but they misjudged. They didn't know the worthless old lady they teased held all power. That night, for first time in ages, I rested well. I slept knowing I was valued and honored. And each morning, I rose eager for the day. It took too long to see alone isn't lonely. And sometimes chosen family is tougher than birth one. Jay and Valentina thought they taught me when they shamed me in that lobby. They were correct on one point. I did learn that week. I learned I'm worth standing up for, even if I must do it. And that shifted all. The tale we shared is made up, but draws from real happenings. Names and spots change to guard those in it. We share not to judge, but hope someone hears and stops to reflect. How many moms suffer quietly in their homes? I'm wondering, if you were me, what would you pick? Stay quiet for calm, or risk it to reclaim your say? I want your thoughts because each tale is a light that can guide another. God always blesses.